Can you first off tell me about how things are in Mosul? Yeah, I mean, Bassem is in Erbil now, so you're outside of Mosul. But tell me what's happening.
2014, June, ISIS entered Mosul.
Go.
You hear me, Sam?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Better. Yeah.
Yeah. In June of 2014, ISIS entered Mosul, and they took over Mosul and started converting Mosul into fanaticism Islam. And then September of the same year, my house was bombed, and I left Mosul to Turkey, and then stayed in Turkey for my operation for 4 months, then back to Baghdad. And I've been in Erbil for about 1 year. I went to Mosul 3 times in the last 2 months. The city has been destroyed after the war on ISIS, especially the old city. I don't think it will be habitable for at least a year. And this is a good estimate, a very close estimate. The left side of Mosul, which is the newer part, is getting better, but there are 5 bridges in Mosul. All 5 bridges have been bombed. Now they are putting some military, which is very difficult to cross across the river. But I went back. I want to see what happened. We have a building, 4-story building in the old city. It has been bombed. My house, as you mentioned, was bombed. My brother's house was bombed. We lost 2 cars, was damaged. So this war on ISIS took toll on every person in Mosul, whether being loss of life, loss of property, loss of income. So this war on ISIS has devastated Mosul. I have been planning to go back to Mosul, but every time I go back, I find it difficult for me to go back and live right now. But I expect to be back within 4 months. I think things should be better within 4 months.
You know, Bassem, one of the things that I think many Americans, certainly of the generation of most people in this room, I think we don't make the connection between the war that we started and all of the events that have taken place over the past 16 years. And I remember, you years ago, probably in 2007, when you spoke in one of my classes, that you said the Americans came in and they broke a system. You all broke a society, and you have to fix it somehow. And I look at this today. I look at these. I have an image of Mosul up that you sent to me, and I think
I sent you a few photos of the devastation in Mosul. In 2003, when the Americans invaded Iraq, looking for the WMDs, weapons of mass destruction, which they found none. They broke down the system. They broke down the military system. They broke down the education system. Everything was dismantled. And then since 2003, a new Islamic parties took over the country. And you know my view of Islamic rule. I oppose any Islamic rule. I'm a Muslim, but I don't want to be ruled by religion. I want to be ruled by civilian governments. So Islam has fanaticism has grown in Iraq. Like I've told you before, I have so many Christian friends. I lost all of them because they had to leave Mosul now. Yesterday, I was at the shopping mall and I met a fellow engineer, and we sat down for a cup of coffee, and he said, "What am I going to do?" I said, "Why? What's the problem?" He said, "I'm Christian. I want to go back to Mosul. I want to go back and work in Mosul, but I cannot go back anymore." I said, "Why? Is it fear of for your life? He said, no. All my family, all my friends have left Iraq. And how can I go back and live? And I don't want to stay in Erbil, and I don't want to migrate. He said, what am I going to do? I said, I really feel sorry for you. I really don't know what to tell you, because I myself, I'm living now in Erbil. I have half of my friends here in Erbil, half of them back in Mosul. My nephew is in Baghdad. We have been shattered. On the way to Mosul, there are about 4 or 5 refugee camps, and they are full of refugees, refugees like Christians and Muslims. Most of the Christians, they came here to Erbil. There's a small city, it's called Ain Kawa. They live there. Now they're going back. So this war has not only affected Christians, it has affected Muslims together. And then we had another problem that arises after 2003, which is Shia and Sunnah, which we did not have before. This is a very, very big problem, sectarian. Now, Mosul mostly Sunnis, Baghdad is mostly Shia, south of Iraq is mostly Shia, and it's I don't know, it's a strange situation now.
You know, I think what you're saying now, one of the things that I notice among students, and I've noticed it for many years, and it was true when I was a student, it's very hard to study history because we don't see the relevance of history today. You know, what you're saying and what I've seen and what we both know is that just the 16 years of history, what happened 16 years ago with the decision to invade Iraq led directly to the consequences that you're talking about today. And
Yes.
I think that this is the responsibility that we feel. And when I think about you and when I think about your family, I think this is my people, my government. These are decisions that we made.